the divine love. Welcome to Tots and Teens in Focus. I'm your host, Patricia Trim. Welcome you to another edition of Tots and Teens in Focus. Today, I have a very special guest, and she is no other than Reverend Ingrid van Sertima. Reverend Ingrid van Sertima is a minister in the community and a member of our community who works and along with children, parents, and everyone to give them some type of advice. Reverend Ingrid is going to be talking, and our topic will be a discussion about parenting, parent and child relationship, youth development, spiritual understanding, how youth should be guided and directed in the spiritual walk. They don't have to be a Christian, but they can know who they are and where they are coming from. That's the most important thing. Spiritual knowledge given to our young children from birth will be able to carry them a very far way, because they will always remember where they came from and what they have learned. So Reverend Ingrid is going to tell us more about spiritual understanding. She's the expert in spirituality and spiritual transformation, spiritual correction, and everything spiritual. Reverend Ingrid, welcome once again to Tots and Teens in Focus. I know you're not a tot or a teen, but you're just right. And because you're just right, you will be able to talk to our young teens, because you are the big teen, and you will be able to talk to our young teens and our young tots, and bring them up in the right way so they can know their spiritual consciousness, and they put God first in their life, God in everything that they're doing, and know that God will always be at their side. And then they got to remember, the face of God is in the child next to them. The child next to them has the face of God. So if you can't show love to that child, then you would not get love in return. Welcome once again.
Thank you so much, Patricia Trim, for affording me this opportunity to speak on this forum, Tots and Teens, and the topic is spiritual understanding for youth's development. I will do the best I can in my expressions on this topic. First of all, I must say, like I quoted, this time in a long time, because things has changed tremendously from when I was born to now. It's big changes from communication in the house, communicating to moms and dads, brothers and sisters. We sit, we communicate. Now we had a little radio, and we all will sit around the radio to listen. Now you have TV, you got internet, you got social media. Things have changed, and the direction of the thought vibration with children has changed. But what we have to do is to pay more close attention to what changes is taking place in our lives. You know, in the African thing, it takes a village to raise a child. And we, you know, there's not a village here, but, you know, we have different groups that we can become involved in to help us to assist in our spiritual development for our children. So I should say right here and right now, the spirituality is a quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. And like Sister Patrice, you know, she mentioned of the environment where the parent and they have to work, and the children is left to, they may have an eldest child, and especially when you're an eldest child, all the responsibility is rest upon you. For whatever reason, the eldest child, they're expecting you to watch over while they are working. In Guyana, we had the husband, they will go out and work. The wife is home to take care of the children, to make sure everything is fine And like they say, a mother's work is never done because we are always working. We move from mother, we go to grandmother, we are always working. The children, go to your grandmother, and some grandmothers do spoil kids, you know what I mean? I always maintain an order, because we have to help them. What else?
What else that you can say that I know you mentioned that the parents have to work. Both parents are working. But
Yes.
then when we look at the ratio of parents that are working, both parents are working, or father not there or mother not there, and the results that we will get with some of our young people. And when you look at it and you put it in a nutshell, is that if both parents are not around, most time you get children who are not taking orders or looking for attention, or finding somebody, mother not home, father not home, somebody in the street tell them, I love you. The word they're looking to get, I love you. Parents too busy working. They have no time to say to their children, I love you. But a drug dealer, a gangster, somebody will tap them on the shoulder and say, I love you, man, I love you. And when they say they love you, they give them something else for them to hold on to. And that is where the whole family breakdown get done. Mother's working, father's working, think everything is okay, but it's not okay.
Yeah, that's what you call lack of attention in the home. And when it is not there, then the energy is being projected out into environments with friends, etc. We should pay close attention to the friends that the children are. Say, I don't want that child here because that child parent, whatever it is. We don't do that. We try to find out what is attracting this child to this environment, because in spirit, there's nothing bad and good. It just is. It's a neutral force that can work on the good and the not so good. This is what I say. I don't say bad. I say good and not so good. And communication in the home is most important. The husband and the wife, whenever they think, we have to spend time, whether at weekends, some people working. I'm guilty of that. I used to work 7 days a week because I didn't want food stamp. I didn't want welfare. I wanted to make sure that I'm projecting this image for my children that you must work. This is what you must do. You see, because it's not a bad thing for somebody to be on food stamp or to be on welfare, but it has its own energy. You see, and if it is needed, then you should take it, but you should not be 100% depending on it. You see, but working, setting up that environment to show your children that working and maintaining that is very important. But let me go back to the subject. The subject matter is the development of the children. We have to have a certain environment within the home. We would take our children. Sunday, we go to church. Saturday, you get to the laundromat, or if you have the laundromat in your home, you show them how to wash clothes, you show them how to clean house, you show them how to cook, to bake, whatever it is. You have to create that environment of showing them what life is all about. You see? So if you don't, children are left. You're working from Monday to Sunday. I told you that I really did those things, and reflecting back, I could have done it better. But thank God the children came out good. I must give thanks for that. But leaving children alone to do things for themselves, it's not a good thing. It should be supervised, and it should be supervised properly. Like you said, Patricia Trim, that both parents cannot work. Or if they do work, because, okay, let me look at a mother working during the day, the father working during the night. Okay, that when she gone out, she may prepare whatever it is. Now he has to take them to the daycare or take them to school. You see, he come back home, you know, a good man will cook and prepare. You understand me? So when he gone to work now, the mother is coming home, she's picking up the kids, the dinner and everything is prepared. The children sit down, they have a meal, and she helped them with their homework. That is a functional family. A dysfunctional one is where both parents going out at the same time and working, and the children is left to be brought up by the people at the daycare or the school. That's a big error in the upbringing of a child. We saw that in the pandemic, Sister Patricia. We saw that in the pandemic, when the pandemic hit and the children home, the parents get frustrated. They didn't understand what's going on with the teacher and the school and different things. It was overwhelming when this pandemic came. But, you know, we will say that the pandemic is a bad thing. It really wasn't a bad thing. It was a good thing because it revealed a lot of things that we were not doing and what we were supposed to be doing.
Okay. The thing about it is that what I always look at, our people from the Caribbean or wherever we come from,
yes,
would be the ones to be working in Long Island, taking care of the folks in Long Island children. But our children is left alone wherever they are, in whichever area, they're left alone, home alone. Likewise, the parents are taking care of other people's children and their children left astray to the gangs, to whoever will, to the neighbor next door, to wherever they're living. So I feel to myself that, you know, most of this thing happened to people from the Caribbean. The children was left alone, the children became key children. The children became gangsters, end up in jail, returned back to their country. Some was shot. The same people that they were looking at their children turn back and kill all these people, children, shoot them down as police brutality, beat them up, break up their mouth and all the way like that, sentence them to wrongfully put them in prison when they didn't do anything or anything that they accused them of was not right. There was a lot of wrong deals that was passed over our Black people children head. This is because parents who brought their children, they came over to the States to get an opportunity. They came over, the children was left there home alone in the country. When grandparents or whoever trying to talk, they don't talk to them. I got to send the clothes, I doing this, I doing that. When they come here now, they become a burden. Parents can't handle it. Then the children live on the streets, then the children live all over the place. What would be your advice to parents who may thinking of sending for the children if they are here already, but they are waiting to see what will happen? How would they take responsibility of their life and their fear and their children in their home?
You see, thank you so much, Patrice. You see, there is a way of doing things. We have to prepare the environment before we send for these children. But you have within a certain period of time where you have to bring these children, because after a certain time you put in for them, it's a longer process. But when the children is between age XYZ, you have to send for them. Now, when you send for them, you have to have like a grandparent or somebody there that can look over them while you're working. We got, you got live-in. Live-in, you can't be doing live-in work and then sending for children. Then who will be looking at them? You must have to have a reasonable adult there to oversee what is going on with these children. We have home attendants. There's a breakdown of that, where you will go, you will work for 8 hours. I never like working overtime. At first, I used to do that when I was working for American Express, because you got to make up, you know, money paying for rent, like, you know, especially when you're a single parent. It's harder on a single parent, much harder. because she has to play both roles, mother and father. And it's not an easy thing, but it is double. You have to have tremendous strength. You have to have the Lord on your side, because God never leaves us. Like he said, I would never leave you, nor I would ever forsake you. You have to believe that, because he never promised us house and car and job, you know. One promise he gave us, I would never leave you, but you have to call upon his name. He said, call upon my name and see if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour the blessing. The call compels the answer, and nothing like a mother's cry. We see it all the time. So before you send for a child from the West Indies and bring them into an environment, because remember, this environment is different, Patrice. It's different. It in the African, it says it takes a village to raise a child. In Guyana, we got a neighbor looking out for the child. You see, up here, there's no neighbor looking out for child. Everybody's looking out for themselves. So we have to create an environment before we send for the children. We got to be able to say, okay, good. If you're working as a home attendant or a live-in, it has to be changed. If not, then you have to have somebody that is responsible for helping as you are out there working. Brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, you know, we got to look after for these children, because we, and another thing you mentioned, Patrice, is about being in gangs. We got to pay attention to what our children is getting themselves involved in. You will see a child come, you see, like with this thing with the pants down, my grandchildren, they may wear it outside, but the minute they hit my door, they know, they better know where the waist is.
Don't come to granny with that.
Don't come to granny's house with your pants where you don't know where your waist at, because right away you have to pull it up. They have friends, I will talk to the friends, I will, you know, I don't say, well, keep away from,
you know, there is one thing
go ahead,
that I see the US embassy in the countries are doing. When you send and you say children to follow to join, they say no. Children ain't following to join, children gotta come with you. That fee for that child gotta pay right away. They're not leaving children back home alone, because they tend to say when a parent is missing or parent is overseas and one is in Guyana or none is in Guyana, the children there, they get more out of order, because parents send their clothes, and so they feel that they have everything. So when they come over to the States now, they are out of order and the parents can't control them. So now at the embassy there, you send for your children got to bring their children. Once they're on the age, you got to bring them. They're not allowing them to leave your children. They say no child left behind. No child left behind. All children must go.
That's a great thing, Patrice, and truly, that's a true thing, because when my mom put in for me to come, she says to bring the two eldest one and the last one, because the last one was just 2 years. So, and the other 3 was left, and they felt that, you know, like whether you favored this one by bringing them, it caused a little rift in between there. You see, so I love that. That was put in place. That's one of the most greatest thing, because when the children, especially my son, you know, and he always used to feel, why did I have to leave them and bring, you know, and I said, that was not my doing. This is what was done. And, you know, I had to wait on 3 years before I bring them. They were left there with their father, and it was not a nice experience for them. So I had to keep working to help them to understand. And I don't think up to now that they have fully overcome it, because the mind holds memories of things that was done to them. And it's not easy. We have forgiveness, like Jesus said forgiveness. But how do you know when you forgive? If you forgive, then there's no pain. But if there's still pain when you're talking about it, it simply means that you have not fully forgiven. But that's a very good thing of no child left behind.
No
That's
child left
wonderful.
behind.
That's
yes,
wonderful.
because when you leave the children behind, you know, I see a lot of things happen to children in Guyana. Some people send back children. I don't even know if Yankee is ever alive. I don't know what become of her because I had to save her. And I took her into the embassy and but I didn't have her social security number. So these are things, children are being brutalized. They are being abused physically, financially, emotionally by relatives and friends and neighbors or wherever they get. These children are being abused. I don't like the idea of parents when they come because the children misbehave. They send them back again and they get worse treatment when they go back there. Worse treatment, you know. So I don't really like that part at all, sending your children back and you are not there, but you feel that's the punishment because you had punishment in your this. But that is not, it's hatred. You developing a hatred between you and your child. You send me back, you didn't care about me, you didn't like me, you didn't want me, you know. But however, these things do happen in families and family emotion, family dynamics. They happen here, they happen there, they happen everywhere. But now that we have a new way of thinking, new technology, new they can call, they can see, they can do everything now on technology that is dominating the scene. And parents don't even have much talk with them now. Everything now, they're texting. Where are you? I'm here, mommy. So parents got to put on thing on their phone to pick up wherever they are, you know, because they could say they're here and they're not here, and all they like that. They send them, they're at school. They do the same thing. So parents always got to be watching to make certain that they get home on time. But the children are smart. Technology is good and technology is bad. And technology can change and technology can make things worse. How do you feel about the technology that is being used now?
Well,
smart head children.
well, thank you, Pat. You know, in our time, I would always reflect on our time and this time, you know, to show the change that has
Reverend, our time we had donkey card.
Yes,
now we got DeSoto. There's no donkey card now. There's DeSoto.
That's correct. That's correct. But you know, we just can't help reflecting on. I'm taking it from the point of birth, because in our time, when a child is born, you gotta wait 7 days to see whether the child is seeing. Now these children, the minute they're born, the eye open, they're looking all over. And sometimes when you take on the picture, you see the face like this. What kind of environment they send in?
They're chicken.
You know what I mean? You know, it's a strange thing that has happened.
You're feeding them with starter, you know, start them up with all kind of food. The parents eating all kind of thing. They're eating the chicken, and you know, the babies are talking even in your belly.
Man, yes, because they're training you to talk to them. You see, like when a child is moving around, we say, oh, the child is moving. But remember that this child is moving with whatever thought, vibration that we're thinking, whatever it is that we're eating, but we weren't taught that in our time. You know, we say, okay, the baby kick in and the baby sleeping and whatever. Now, when that child comes out, because it has to come out from this environment and come into another environment.
Ready to talk.
That's right. When you see they come out, like I look at the movie, Guess Who's Talking? And they show the baby say, you know, they're making movies, and I like to look at them and say, who's talking? And the baby say, okay, look here, say dada. You're gonna see how we gonna respond. The first word that come out of a child's mouth is dada, even though it's mama taking care of him. The first thing come out is dada for whatever reason. You know, our environment is different now, and it's a lot of generic food. In our time, you eat more natural food, natural food. Now everything is generic, and the children are developing. Their minds and everything is different from ours. And in our time, we were taught, speak when you're spoken to, and
Answer when you
silence
call.
when you're something. Yes, and we want to ask a question, and where you get that from? And they're ready to put you down. These children, when they ask the question, we got to go into our bank, we got to think before we speak. Because when you come out, you say, oh no, that's not where babies come from. Be the baby, the stock bring them. They
Gone
gonna
was
say,
day when the airplane bring babies.
That's right. We were told
babies
that.
are making babies. So gone were the days when babies are
gone were the
you
that's
you
right.
tell them about airplane. But Reverend, my
Go ahead.
time is almost up. So I just want to say, what would be your advice to our young people out there?
Our young people is to be more aware of who you are, because they're all spirit beings made in the image and likeness of God. And you got to love yourself. Like I used to tell my grandson, you're making a positive difference in this world today. I see God's hands on you, and I used to bless him. You understand? We have to take the time to bless our young people.
Yeah.
We got to train ourselves to see beyond what they're expressing. It's not easy when they come, the short dress, the boobs. I mean to say, we had different styling, and we used to label people when they dress in a certain way. But up here, we cannot label them because it's a style that is happening. But we got to learn to bless our young people, say wonderful things to them, give them words of encouragement. You understand me? When they come to us, even though when they may not come to us, a smile or a hello.
And your advice to the parents?
Yeah?
Your advice to parents?
My advice to parents is to not to get too involved in chastising, but to pay attention to your environment and how it is changing. You have one job, let your one job be good for you and spend time with your children. Communication is the key. Sometimes take away the cell phone and say, let us have a normal conversation. What is happening? How was your day at school? What, and get to know them and get to know their friends. Spend some time going to the movies with them. I used to have my movies time. You used to have the going to the library time. We have to find that time in which to meet them.
That leisure time and that pleasure time to be with your children is very much important,
Very.
As our children grow, they need us and we need them.
And we need them both.
And we have to spend that time to be there with them, to talk with them, to laugh with them, to cry with them, to listen to what's going on in their life, to help them up in their schoolwork, help them up to rise up, because I say a mother's work never done. No matter how old she is, the child, no matter how old the child is, the mother work never done. The child, the mother, I always say mother must take care of their children until they can't go anymore, or until God say bye-bye. But otherwise, so that I just feel that parents of the child obligations to take care of their parents, but a parent's right is to take care of the children till the end of time. So,
but Dr. Bernard, I have a tape with him, and ever so often I used to lend out the tape and said for them to bring it back to me. He talked about relationship. He said introduction, acquaintance, friendship, and maybe intimacy. He said the young people are jumping from introduction to intimacy, and they're missing the walk. And that was a very powerful tape. I lent it out the last time and I never got it back because, I used to lend it out to families for them to listen to the walk. Introduction, acquaintance, friendship, and maybe intimacy. So this is for the young people, and the young people You know, they must learn to love themselves. Parents must learn to love their creation, because these children came through their actions, and they have to be able to understand that they are responsible. They were given stewardship for them. We got to exercise more patience and more tolerance with them at this time. Thank you so much, Patrice.
Reverend, thank you very much for that, your inspirational thoughts and words for our young people out there. And I do hope that parents have this message that they can communicate with their children, because, you know, if you don't find time with your children, you could be at the prison crying, you'll be at the court crying, you'll be at the burial ground, at the funeral home crying. You'll also be there because they may be on drugs and you can't help them. So I do hope that parents take this advice and start with the spiritual understanding in your home. It doesn't start outside of your home. It starts in your home. As a parent, a mother, a father, spiritual understanding is always the ideal thing to take your children through. Give them that spiritual knowledge at a young and tender age, so they will be able to be directed in the right direction and prevent you parents from getting yourself worked up or tracking here, traveling here, getting there, finding money to bail them and all the way like that. Parents, take your responsibility very serious and take your Christ consciousness very serious, because without Christ in you, there is no hope in your children. But Christ in you is a hope in glory. So put Christ first, put God first, and let God work the way. Thank you very much, Reverend Harold, for you being with me and talk. We know we got to get back to this topic, because parenting never finished, children never done. They're always there and they always need guidance. So our leaders in the community need to help guide them along the way from a tender age, from nursery, not when they turn a big person, from nursery, because by then they may go on astray. You don't want them to go astray. You want them to lead the community. I don't want nobody to push me off of the train or push me down when I'm walking. I would want every child that see me come and give me a helping hand, you know, because what you see going on and how they're attacking old people and pulling them down and throwing them down, it's not nice. So, you know, these things are things that spiritual understanding, given at a tender age, may help, will help if it's given in the right way. Once again, Reverend, thank you very much for being on the show with Tots and Teens in Focus of Brick Heart Media, giving the information to our young people, youth education and spiritual understanding.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure once more.
Youth development and spiritual understanding. And education too.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, all in a nutshell. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay then.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and anytime. God bless. Okay then. Bye-bye.
Thank you.